Blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Mary, Mother of the Eucharist, pray for us. St. Thomas Aquinas, and all our saints and angels. St. Joseph, everybody. And Father, so pray for me, Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, everybody, so y'all are going to be eating and I'm going to be talking. Okay, that sounds good to me. First of all, okay, we are Dominican Sisters of Mary, Mother of the Eucharist. I'm Sister Joseph Andrew. This is Sister Mary Deanna. You can kind of wave. And this is Sister Maria Benedicta. And so we came here today from Ann Arbor, so it's not all that far away. And thanks to you all here, our community is growing because we're getting some Purdue vocations. And how many know Sister Irenaeus? Oh, sure you do. She's a character, isn't she? Yeah. So she's now in Texas teaching. I feel like I'm whistling, but I'm not. But anyway, yeah, I could whistle. But anyways, I'm doing it tonight. And then how many know Sister Bridget? Yeah, I know. So we're getting her picture framed, and she's going up there on the wall of fame, whatever y'all want to call it. And so she sends her greetings very, very, very specially, as does the whole community, because everybody loves you all. And they were all like, oh, you're going to Purdue. And I know these two lucky sisters over here, everybody was a bit envious of them because you really do have it good here. And I want to say that because you are giving of the abundance of your hearts and your faith and your love and your intelligence to others so that they too can have what you have and pass it on to others. And I think that's a necessity before God when we've been so blessed that we really are spoiled. And I like being spoiled. I admit I am, and I like it, and I hope God keeps it up, So I'm always thanking Him because I want more of it. And who was the saint that said, just keep thanking Him that you can get more? I believe that. So I know I'm spoiled now, and I appreciate that. But really, thank God. Why are you sitting here tonight, not some other friends that you knew, perhaps from high school or even earlier or whatever? I think it's good for us to do that because the more grateful we can become, the more zealous we will be. Like, my life could be a lot different than the beautiful life it is by God's goodness to me. Not by me, how would I have known anything? Not by you, how would you know anything? But by God's goodness. And He has you here. And I come here at least once a year. And every time I do, I find myself loving it more because I think more and more I notice young people are becoming more and more what I call real. And that's a great compliment. If I say to you, you are a real person, that's pretty high in my book. We all probably know some artificial people. And they're miserable, and they make everybody else miserable, and their lives are going to be miserable because at the end of the day, it's going to be, as the famous Lou Holtz said one time, walk in the cemetery and get a reality check. There's 2 dates, the one you're born and the one you die. The important thing is what's the dash? What's between those two? What was your life like? And I think to have the faith is such an incredible gift. Again, not because we deserve it, or we did anything for it, but because we did say yes when God offered it to us. And you might say, well, I was baptized as an infant, well, so was I. But my yes is constant. Whereas I could stop it right now, but I'm not that stupid. I'm living my faith with gratitude because I want more of it. I need more of it. This world needs more of it. There's so many things that I could just smash if I was God, but thank God I'm not. And I know all about His mercy and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, we have an obligation to spread the faith, to get out there and to make a difference in this world. And the world needs you like it has never needed you before. One of my favorite things is when John Paul the Great was talking at World Youth Day to some young people. And he said, somebody said to him, well, Holy Father, we're younger, so but we're coming, we're going to be the church of the future. And he stopped them immediately and said, no, you are not the church of the future, you are the church now. And I depend on you, and we need you. And I think if all of us took those kinds of words to prayer in Eucharistic adoration, in the chapel, even in your own rooms and your own hearts and your own cars and just in your lives, and said, the church needs me now, needs me. I have a purpose. This is important. And the more we catch on to that, the more we go out and change the world for God. So you could not have delighted a Dominican heart anymore by giving me a topic on truth and charity. I'm like, well, this is Thomas Aquinas 101. And you all know that. Can you believe your name is the great Dominican Thomas Aquinas, and you know him so well, you call him St. Tom? I mean, that's really cool. That's really, I like that. I'm sure he does too. Of all the theologians, I think, and I'm not the only one, and I'll tell you another story in a second. I think we could go on and on forever, but I am going to try to give y'all a couple of minutes to ask whatever questions. But in any case, of all the theologians, I think Thomas Aquinas, in so many ways that others perhaps don't, and I like a lot of them, I'm just saying, there's something so real, remember that word, about Thomas Aquinas. He got it. He knew us. He knew himself. Now, how did he do that? Because he was just born brilliant? I mean, yeah, that probably is true too. But no, it's because God gave him inspiration. Why did he pick Thomas Aquinas? I don't know. I'm not God. But I know he did. And Thomas Aquinas wrote more than you or I ever will if we sat down and started writing until we passed out and then died eventually. I mean, what Thomas Aquinas wrote, it makes sense. And it's all driving towards a logical and a truth. So if you say, you put together the words truth and charity, you are saying the very same word. And that word is a name, and that name is God. God is love. Shortest phrase in the Bible, one of the shortest phrases, and probably the most stunning for anybody really reading it. We hear the Gospels and the epistles at Mass, and it always kind of makes me mad about myself. I'm kind of like Zoop. I heard that one a million times. I know what that one's going to say. Well, that's not true. I'm a different person today than I was yesterday, and the Gospel today should hit me in a different place than the last time I heard it. We have to stay on our intellectual tiptoes, so to speak, to always be open to where God is leading us. And I'll tell you a quick story. So one time I taught what was called CCD. And so I was in college in Cleveland, Ohio, anyway. And I had this 7th grade group. How did y'all teach 7th grade? Oh, God, I love you. Yeah. So at any rate, I had these 7th graders. Now I taught 7th grade all day as a year. And I like them, and I get to like people. And we bond and all that. But I mean, 1 hour a week, they would come in like wild. And so I would go over there. They were awful. I wasn't much better. It was just terrible. And I could not think, how can I get their attention? Because they didn't want to be there. They did school all day long. They were tired. And I totally understand it. I'd been in school all day long too. I was in college. And I was exhausted. And I was like, this is a dumb idea. And so I would say to them, I remember one time saying, gosh, if y'all would go to a Catholic school, we wouldn't have to do this. And they're like, well, we can't all do that. And, we don't want to do this anyway. So if you want to just let us go home, I'm like, yeah, right. You're not that smart. But one time, I just said to them, and this was maybe, say, the 3rd or 4th class. I was very truthful, which I tend to be. My sisters can tell you, I tend to say it like I see it. And so I just said, okay, we're going to have a moment of truth. You all sit down and listen. A moment of what? Truth. You just sit down. Just listen. Okay, she feels like she means it. Okay. So they finally halfway did. And I said, here's my moment of truth. You don't want to be here, do you? No! And I'm going, neither do I. Really? Well, no, I don't want to be here at all. But you know what? Since none of us want to be here, and says, it's important that you are here. I am going to give you a great gift. And they're just, now they're interested in gift. Oh, she's got her attention. I am going to offer up for you the fact that I'm teaching you every week. And you're acting like this. And they just kind of looked at me and go, could you say that again? So yes, I don't want to be here either. I'm going to offer up that I'm having to teach you. And they go, well, you have to. You're a nun. Well, I'm not a nun. I'm a sister. There's a difference. I will teach you all if you just pay a little bit of attention. And I don't have to be here anyway. I'm choosing to be here. But no, I don't like it. Because you all just way too blah, 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 blah. And they're like, so what did you say you're going to do about this? And I said, I am going to turn it into a positive. I'm going to offer up the sacrifice of coming over here and teaching you all on Monday nights. And I'm going to offer that for you to become holy. Well, they were just stunned. How do you respond to that one? And finally, I had their attention. And so I said, there's one thing that I want to ask you to do for me. You want to ask us to do something for you? Yeah. I want you to try really, really hard, and I know it's hard, and I'm having a hard time too, but let's all try to pay attention. And it'll go faster, and we'll do better. You think so? Yeah, I do think so. And if I'm offering this up for you, you owe me, so you better offer it for me, but you're going to pay a little bit more attention. Do you know they started paying their attention? I mean, we actually made it through the semester. I didn't sign up the next time. I'm saying we made it through. And by the end, there was a bond going. And they would say, Sister, you say it so truthfully. We appreciate this. And that's my point of the story. No matter what age or what subject material in theology you are trying to impart to these young people who maybe don't have all the blessings that we would wish to be able to give them, but they're there, and you're there by your goodness. And you've got something going on here that I wish the whole world could see, because you obviously are a success story. And there's not a whole lot of places that are success stories with this. We've got to figure out something. I think you're doing it. You're making it happen. And more families, John was just telling me, are signing up for it, and keep doing what you're doing. But the truth thing is God that you're giving them. Don't ever sell them short because they act like they want less. Don't go there. The less you give them, the less they will respect you, the less they will respect the church, the less they will want to come, the less they'll be interested in anything, the more boring and horrible this whole situation becomes until you give them the best that you can, which is the fullness of the faith. Young people want the faith. Our community started 21 years ago, 4 sisters. Today is 145. Average age is 31. What's going on? And I love this. To me, it's like, duh, common sense. But to a lot of people who don't have faith or don't get truth, and then they have a false sense of charity, which I can't stand, they just think this whole thing just cannot possibly be happening. People are good. They don't always act good, but they are good. And God made them. And He made them the way that they are. And they deserve truth. And if you give them truth in the most appealing way that you possibly can, with your energy and your enthusiasm, they're going to catch on. There's more to this than I'm seeing. You want to be remembered as someone who really brought them closer to God. Suddenly they kind of became interested in, you mean there's more than just being in 7th grade, 6th grade, kindergarten, whatever the ages are. You mean there's more to life, and I am important? Who's ever told me I'm important? Do you know very few people here that they're important today? We're living in an age where we don't hold up the dignity of the human person. We cut it, smash it, smear it, all the other kind. And that's from the evil one, as C.S. Lewis would say. That's from screw tape, straight from hell. And we do it, and we see it, and we hear it, and then everybody's like, why is the world, my word for the world today is hostile. Because that's the way so many people act. The reality is, people are starving for God. They're starving for the God that we have inside us. They want Him and they don't even know who He is. Truth is charity. To not give truth is totally against charity. And again, I think we're in a strange, I'll go down a little bit more. I think we're in a strange situation where people would say, okay, well, here's something. Okay, so in Rome, you tell me not to go too far out from wherever I'm going. Okay. So in Rome, soon, there will be a Synod on youth. And the Synod on youth will be on vocations, which every young person needs to say, God, why did you create me? What's my way back to heaven? That's your vocation. It's not your career, it's your vocation. How am I to love? What's the fullness of my heart? That's your vocation. By the way, I'll be here tomorrow, and there's a sign-up sheet up there, and I'll take girls and guys, because I happen to like guys a whole lot. But anyway, if they're hanging out or whatever. Okay, back to, so this Synod, I'm a little bit concerned about it. I don't have anything to do with it, but I'm kind of like, oh, let me be in charge of this Synod. Because I will go in there knowing young people want God. They don't want this crazy world. They don't want people they should look up to demean them by telling them falsities, by minimizing the story, by playing games and acting like nobody's good, so why should you be good? They want to be raised up to holiness. We all do. We were created for it. We want that sparkle. We want that zest. We want that enthusiasm. We want truth because we know a person who loves us enough to tell us the truth does indeed truly love us. And somebody who minimizes and just tells us how wonderful we are when we do the wrong thing. It's the great age, and millennials were raised on this. Oh, honey, you're going to get a gold star today because you breathed all day long. Give me a break. Gold stars don't mean anything anymore, do they? You know, when we give our gift, and our gift in your position, you can think of this throughout your entire life, but I'm just saying tonight, as we focus on what is the gift you give to these young people, it really is your enthusiastic love of Christ and the church. Even when you're tired, you have to do that. My sisters will say, oh my gosh, teaching is so exhausting. Where do you get a break? You don't. Well, when do you just kind of get time? Oh, you don't. Well, how do you keep on going? You just do. God gives the grace, but you cannot accept these roles of teaching without, number one, saying, I will teach my students truth, and I will do it because I love them. And they will know you love them. And then challenge them to go love others. Go tell this to your parents. How many parents know half as much as the kids by the time they paid attention in your classes? Go tell this to your parents. Go tell this to some of the kids that you play with. Go be, challenge. So I work 24/7 for most of my religious life with vocations. And we're getting a lot, as you can tell by the numbers. Then people say, where are you getting so many? Well, one of the reasons, I could go on and on, Eucharist adoration, Mary devotion, blah, 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 anyway. But one of the reasons I would definitely say is because we're not afraid to challenge young people. And that's where a lot of people are losing it when they're dealing with young people. So some people will say, oh, the millennials, oh, what are we going to do for blah, blah, blah. I'm not giving them any, I've got the answers. Give them to me, take them off your hands. Oh, I love you. I want them. My whole community's millennials. I get them. I know what to do. Now, what is it? It's because they're probably, are probably in many ways, just generally speaking, the least challenged generation to come along because you've not been loved unconditionally. Now, you might be. Maybe you have beautiful parents and you come from a great whatever. But I think deep in the heart of every young person is, am I not worth more than this? Whatever this I'm receiving from society, from sometimes false friends, from whatever. Yes, you are. You're worth eternity. You're worth God's own life, which He gave up for you. You are worth a ton more than you can ever imagine you're worth. And when you know that, it gives you what everybody wants, which is a certain interior peace. Like, I really am important, and a freedom to become yourself. What's the great challenge of young people today? Lack of self-knowledge. Young people aren't raised in a real world. They're raised either being cuddled or being corrected and not receiving truth through love. And so they don't know what truth really does mean. And they sense they're being fed less than truth, and they get a little animosity that doesn't anybody appreciate them enough, take them seriously enough to give them truth. And a lot of people don't. And you have to love those kids you're teaching. And you have to love your faith. And you have to be that shining light. Because who knows? I mean, I think of this every time I talk in front of anybody. We, each of you, us, might be the brightest person that younger person or whoever has seen in a long time. I remember that in a particular school, which was a difficult school to teach in. And when the kids would finally come, this was high school, I tend to teach more, so high school, I would be so conscious, now the good part of their day is beginning, which is sad. You know, I remember crying because I didn't want to go to school and do anything else I could to get out of school. But today they're running because maybe sister, maybe whoever will love me more than I feel like I'm loved at home. Truth always equals love. And young people have it in them to want to know. They can snip out of fake faster than anybody else can as they get older. We have a ton of reasons that we will credit to try to believe some big liar out there, but a young person won't. They're not pulling the wall over my eyes. I see very clearly. And remember that when you're in front of them, they're watching you. And the truth that you give them to challenge them, get to Mass on Sunday. And again, it depends on the age you're teaching and whatever their car situations are, etc. But you still teach the truth, and you say, and if you can't because your parents can't and you can't drive and no friends are going to come in, can you go in your room and just pray by yourself a little bit? Can you do the best? And then when you get older, I really hope you can go. And they'll be in the palm of your hand going, I want to. Because they'll love you. Because you love them enough to teach them reality, truth. And you love them enough to challenge them. And they will immediately say, if it means so much to you, it means a lot to me too. I want to know more. That's how we grow. That's how every one of us has been formed for the good. Somebody we respected, we loved, paid attention to us, and loved God into us. And it didn't come at an easy price, especially as we get older and we have to make big decisions. And we realize more and more all the consequences. It takes a life of faith, a very active life of faith, to eventually say, but I choose you no matter what. Because without you, there is nothing. There is no love, there is no truth, I have no life. And so they look at you as someone who knows, someone who they respect, and when you win them over, and it's different ways of winning over different classes, that's always a challenge. But when you can do that, they want to be like you. They want to love God like you do. They want to know the faith like you do. They want something solid in their very wishy-washy lives that will never change, and someone who will love them to the end of their life and want to be with them for all eternity. That's what you give them when you give them the truth and love. The two have to go together. To spout truth without love is dead. In fact, you can turn them against it. And to love without truth is a lie. The two are the same thing. And so we give them the truth and love. And really, as the Blessed Mother, who John Paul II, St. John Paul II the Great, St. John Paul the Great, but I always talk about the Rosary. And he was sitting at the School of Mary. And I have found this really does work, just like all of us like things, okay? So you can get cord and you can learn, and look online, our sisters teach it all the time. How can you make them little rosaries? Even if it's just a small deck, we have a sister that during recreation in the evening when we're together just talking or playing games or whatever we're doing, family time, she'll sit over there making rosary after rosary as she's talking. And she just gives them out when she's on planes or she's wherever. And that means so much because that was made by a sister who doesn't even know this person but gave this. Give them something tangible. Have them blessed. Let them carry that. And then I always do, before I begin a class, I always, when I'm teaching, begin with a decade of the Rosary. And so one time there were 2 Catholic kids and 28 non-Catholics in my class. It was an unusual situation. I started, in the name of the Father, and they go, what are you doing? And I'm like, you're supposed to be quiet because I'm praying. In the name of the Father, they said, well, what do we do while you do that? You listen. In the name of the Father, so then I start my deck of the Rosary. They're like, she's flipped. We got a nutcase on our hand. I go through my Rosary. By the end of the year, 3 kids in that class became Catholic. Everybody was praying the Rosary, and I was spreading this out for a bunch of them. There's 15 here, there's 5 over here, and I was bringing extra, and everybody wanted a part of the Rosary because they knew it was blessed, they knew it was special, and it calms us down. These are seniors in high school, that, as I said, in that particular group. 2 Catholics who didn't want to act like they were Catholics because the other 28 weren't, and all that happened. People want God. They need the tangibles. They need a person with great love to get out there and not to get riled when you have to figure out your class. As I said, I could figure out that particular group of 7th graders was to be honest, and they got it. Wow, you're not offering this for us? Well, then maybe we can do a little bit better for you. And by the end of the year, it was 1,000 times better. So you just have to keep loving them. But don't ever, I think if somebody were to say to me, what's the biggest problem in the world, I can verbalize it a lot of ways, but one simple way would be, we don't trust each other enough to give truth to each other. We don't trust. We water everything down. We make it fit what we think that person's okay about. We lie. We tell stories. We get out of squeezes by whatever hook and crook we can figure out. And we never challenge each other. It's rare to holiness. That's your job. Through the truth, through your incredible love, because you were here because you want to do this. That they need to know that you love them to do this extra for them. That will be a challenge in itself. Okay, I don't know exactly how much time I've got. John?
2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, Lord help us. 2 or 3 minutes. Who can talk fast? I can too. Give me a question. 2, 3 minutes. Oh, come on. I know you're just getting, you're floating. What can I expect? Yes.
So for someone who has kind of like a connection disability with others in their classroom, how can we single out them and be attention to them while also being there for the other students?
Oh, yeah. Again, I don't know exactly what level and you have to do it according to the psychology of the age. But just generally speaking, my answer to that would be, this this is the trick John Ball's going to have, and it's so true. You have to get him to love you. So good luck with that part. But if you can make that happen, and you love very especially this particular individual, immediately, we've all probably can think of something in our lives where all of a sudden we start looking at that individual a little bit differently. Well, they're not quite so bad. Well, why did I think they were? Well, so-and-so said that. Well, maybe so-and-so's not right. Well, sister, you have your wits about you, and you're good, and we like you. And if you like this person, I must be missing something. I don't want to be left out. It's all about how do you make the bonding occur. And with a person like that, your love will say to everybody else, this person is very special. We teach this is just our second year in high school, Brandon High School, anyway. And they have a lot of mentally challenged, well, I shouldn't say a lot, but I mean, maybe the percentage would be 85% normal people of all different kind of intellectual, and maybe 15%, maybe that's a little bit too high, but of challenged, physically challenged, mentally challenged, all the above. And those kids are only in one class in common. Other than that, they're separated because they need to be, because they just obviously can't quite do what these other high school students can do. But they're in religion class together. That has become such a bond. So it's like the others become kind of, I mean, I don't think they verbalize it this way, but I was just there last week and I was observing, they kind of like become parents to this one who's their same age but needs them. So it kind of pulls out the maternity in the women or the girls and the paternity in the guys. And all of a sudden, this one, nobody better touch because I'm taking care. And then everybody becomes kind of not possessive, but protective of this one. And that's the popular kid in the class. Again, it's the message we send out. If they trust us, they'll follow us pretty far. Which is why, again, scandal is such a horrific sin because trust has been abused. And we got to build up the trust. So if they love you and they trust you, when you go out of your way to this particular individual that everybody's like, they're different, I don't want to be anywhere around them, all of a sudden that person becomes acceptable in a different way. But they're like, I don't want to be left out of this. This is different, I'm going to be in that friendship too. So you kind of set peer pressure as, well, if you don't want to be with us, you're the loss, the loser, because we are. And they're like, well, then count me in. Good question. Anything else? That might have been 2 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to end it by saying, Spirit Dominican, that you want to give the truth in love. And just pray for that. Beg the Blessed Mother, beg Christ, beg the Holy Spirit to use you, because again, 20 years down the road, whatever, are they going to really remember what you said? Well, I mean, I hope so, to a certain extent, but what they will take away will be that you loved God and you loved them, and they want a part of that somehow. And they will try to stay plugged in to love, because that's the way we're wired, thank goodness, by God Himself, to be a part of love. And never minimize truth. Give it to them the way they can handle it. But to give them anything else, they will know you're a fake. They will sniff it out, and then you've lost the credibility. And you wouldn't do that anyway, because this is your moment in these kids' lives for all eternity. Hopefully, you will see them in heaven someday, and there'll be a cheering section saying, we were waiting for you to get here, you helped us get here, so yay, we knew you were coming. Yeah, we can verify that person's great because they helped us out too. Okay, God bless, thanks much.
All right, so if you did not sign in, please make sure that you do so. If you would like to meet with a sister, you can sign for that as well.
Yeah.
Right, so do that. It's good. And then, finish lesson thing, and then you're free to go. Great, thank you.
Thank you for watching.
Is that